for time.
Welcome. Really happy to be here. Thanks for joining us. We will basically, this is an informative session about the application process to M3. We will go through the application and then we will give you time for questions, whatever questions you might have about the program or about the application itself. So
Yes.
I will start right away and I'll
Yes.
share my screen.
And, and we're recording this for the future and for those who cannot join. So just to let you know, I think you already got the notice about that. Okay. All right. So we're going to actually do a mock kind of filling in the application for you and kind of describe along the way. And please take note of questions as we go along so you can ask at the end. So there's lots of instructions. Hopefully everything is clear on this very first page. The important things are eligibility factors. So you need to be at least 18 years old by September 1st, which is September is the beginning of our program officially. But then upper age limit, there's no upper age limit. So you can be 100 and still apply to M3. And also you cannot be enrolled in a school or bachelor's or master's or PhD program, any of those during our program, because we realize that, that would probably be a lot of time commitment for you. And so we welcome underrepresented musicians, basically. And there is one thing that you'll find at the end of the application, which is it's a non-refundable processing fee. It's for our admin, it's for our team to review all the applications. We typically get over 100 applications each time and increasing. But you can read more about our program on our website. We describe everything in detail there. There's a page called How It Works on the website. So kind of these are the same things. And so for application tips, which we'll dig a little deeper as we go into the application, but just straight off the bat, the work samples, which are going to be samples of your music. They should clearly reflect your work, both as a composer and as a performer. And so ideally not just one or the other. So this program is we're trying to serve a certain kind of musician out there that we feel is underserved. And that is someone who composes and performs their music. And so the workshop sample should reflect that. And also, you should clearly state what role you played in each work. Say if there's an ensemble, it might be hard to tell which one you are, depending on the quality of the video. But yes, just to state that clearly, and what instrument you played. And we ask also for the third point, we ask for contrasting work samples in the instructions. And so we're only asking for two. And so both of them, we hope you can make them as different as possible. For instance, different instrumentation, different vibe, so maybe one's very fast or one's very slow, or one's very dense and one's very sparse. So, just play with that difference, but that will give us a better idea of the range of your work. And it should also be clear from the essay, there's short essay questions, as you'll see. It should be clear from either the essay answers or the work samples whether you are comfortable with or have experience collaborating with others. So maybe you've just been a solo artist and this is your first time, collaborating, and it's something that you really want to do, or whether you have, experience. So we'd love at least one of the samples, if possible, to show you collaborating with someone, since that is what you'll be doing in this program. And also, if you are multidisciplinary artists, which both Sarah and I are also, and we love multidisciplinary artists, it should be clear that you would musically be a strong collaborator, since you will be co-composing with someone else in the cohort. So, say if your strongest thing is a dancer and that's most of your training, it might be hard for you to compete, I guess. I don't hate to use that word, but to compete with the other musicians in the group. So yeah, so that's just something to note. Okay, so as we
Yeah,
enter
and
in the, yes,
I'll
what's
add
that?
one more thing about the work samples. Sometimes people will submit an intro where nothing is happening, or it's have in mind that basically the selection process initially starts by me and Jen, and then it will be passed on to the cohort members. If we have 100 applications to listen to, you want to submit the strongest 2 minutes, something that it's memorable, that people can remember who is this person, what and what makes this person unique. If it's like a long intro where like things are taking a long time to start, like this might not be the best work sample, not because of artistic um, um, merit,
Quality.
but
Mhm.
yes, exactly, but much more about like understanding that there's going to be a lot of music that we'll be listening to. So you really want to think about what makes you unique, and what is really something that people listen to and say, "Hi, hey, I remember this person. I really loved their voice or their composition or the ensemble. Something that really reflects who you are as a musician."
Exactly. And so if your work sample kind of has a kind of part in the middle, if you can drop us in the middle of that piece that will kind of showcase you as a composer and performer, that's the ideal. Um, so yeah, okay. So we jump
So
in, we'll do a
I'll
mock.
start and I'll just do
Yes,
my own email.
yes, yes,
So this
yes.
is the first step.
Yeah,
Okay,
great.
here we are.
So
So
name, yep,
your
name
name, very
and
important.
exactly, very important. And so you might have, like for me, my full name is Jennifer Leigh Shu, but I prefer Jen Shu as my artist name. So you can put both or just your artist name. Your
Exactly.
pronouns, that's
So
very, very
I'll put
important
Sarah
for us to know.
Serpa,
Yep.
she,
Mhm.
her, hers.
Great.
Uh,
And the next one is more of an eligibility check. So um, if you were enrolled in the past, where did you attend? And just another note for those just joining, uh, unfortunately, if you're in a program already, by the time this program starts, which will be September 1st of next year, 2025, unfortunately, you'll have to wait until you're out of that program. So, yeah, before you can join ours. So yeah,
so I'll
this
just
is,
put here
mhm.
2020 New England Conservatory of
There
Music.
we go. Perfect. So yeah, you can state your past schooling, education. And yes, if you're confirmed to be enrolling in one, when will you begin? And then we note that you cannot be enrolled. So yeah, that's kind of just to make sure you understand the eligibility
I
there.
would
And then
say September 2026, for example. So this way
exactly,
I know that I can apply.
yes, you can still do it for this year. Um, or you can put NA. Anytime that
Mhm.
it's required, but it doesn't apply to you, you can always put NA, which are for non-applicable. Instruments, locations. We give an example here. So say you play trumpet and you sing, so trumpet voice, slash Sydney, Australia. And if you have kind of two locations, then, you know, put them both. So
Exactly.
Sarah,
This
you
is very
can,
important in terms of instrument. Also, what is your
yes.
primary instrument? We know some of you will be multi-instrumentalists, but there's always one that's gonna be, the strongest. And if also specifically, if your work samples are related to this instrument, it is very important for us to know which one is it that represents you better. So for me, like I'll just put voice. Um, and then New York. That's where I
Yeah,
am right now.
great. Perfect. And then birth
Birth
date,
date,
of
yeah.
course, that's just so, again, you have to be at least 18 by September 1st of 2025. And
Hmm.
there's no upper limit, which is
Exactly.
great.
Website, very
Website,
important. Please don't use a Spotify link. Please be mindful about like which websites require subscription, and Spotify will require subscription for people to access like that's your profile. So ideally that will be a website. Some people also put Instagram, but Instagram, like if you're not logged in, like it's going to be hard for us to check like your profile. So you can either it could be a YouTube link, website, but something that allows us to discover a little bit more about yourself as an artist and as a musician.
Yeah,
So
great.
with mine.
Yes. And your biography, we know it's hard, but if you can, do a 50-word bio, that's what you'll have to do actually in
Yeah.
life. The
And that's
people
what that's
will,
exactly.
yes, will
And that's
just
what you'll
ask
have to
you.
do here. Like if you're
Yeah,
not able to reduce to make a 50 word, like we'll have that into consideration. Like it's very
yeah,
important to be able to summarize who you are. Again, like we know like you have collaborated with many people, you have studied with many people, but it's more like we read the biography and know, oh, I know this person comes from this place, this person is based on this place, they play this instrument, they're collaborating now, like something that reflects who you are right now. It doesn't have to be like a promotional bio. It doesn't have to be what you send to venues or,
right. So no
it's
quotes of
yeah, no
from press.
quotes.
There won't be room. There won't be room.
So it's really for
Yeah,
us to understand again who you are right now.
yeah, great.
Address. So I'll put blah blah blah. So
For now. Yes, so address, again, that's very important for if you are selected, we have to pay you, and that it requires, all your info. So phone number, email, that's self-explanatory. Um,
and we do have to know
yes,
where you're based, where you will
yes,
be based for the duration of the program, for
yeah.
for this matter, payment,
Mm-hmm.
taxes, all this
Yep,
stuff.
all of
So
that.
very important for us to know that. So I'll
Mm-hmm.
put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
Great. And then again, your email
and my
address,
email.
just in case. And this part is optional. It's really up to you. It's more like with most foundations, it's not going to um, like affect your application one way or another. It's more for getting to know, okay, who is applying, who are we not reaching, So this is helpful to us to know where we need to be spreading the word more.
Mhm. And you can
So
always choose, I prefer not to answer.
yeah,
So, or
exactly.
if you identify it as someone like something else, I'll write Portuguese, for example.
Exactly. Um,
Here, the same.
Same. Yep. With the gender identity and whether you're transgender or not, disabled or not.
There's a few
And
things that actually we it's important for us to know, like in case of there's some issue of disability, how to make it more accessible for you. So like like if there's something that we should know that would benefit you then in the future, I think that would be important for us to know. We, of course, all this information is confidential and we would not share it with anyone.
yes, yes. So there is that place at the end of the application, you'll say like, or there you'll see a space. Is there anything else you'd like us to know? So that would be the place to put that information. Great.
We move
So
forward.
moving on, so we can get to your questions. So yes, these are all the work sample tips. We're trying to, make it as easy as possible and to ensure your success. So a lot of rules, not rules, but
Yeah, it's
guidelines.
more like a checklist,
Yeah,
like for
exactly.
for so if you have, I mean, sometimes people want to put videos, but imagine if it's a very good video, but then the music doesn't reflect. We really don't care if it's a video or audio sample. So like if there's an audio sample that reflects much better who you are, like please submit that.
Yes,
That's what we'll be
yes,
listening to, and not so much to the quality of the video.
exactly.
But your instrument should be hearable. We should
Yeah.
be able to hear what you play. Again, like contrasting in nature.
Hmm.
If you're submitting something slow, then maybe something faster, or
Hmm.
different ensembles.
Hmm.
And as just Jen said, work samples are a critical element of the proposal. And even if it's just 2 minutes that we'll listen to, um, if there's something that interests us, we might go to your website or to the website you provided. So make sure, like, whatever link you provide, that has additional information about you has that
Is
information and
updated.
resources clear.
Yeah.
Yes, it's updated. It's not something from 5 years ago that you haven't
Hmm.
touched in a long time. This is
Yep.
not just for this grant, just like
For every
for any
grant, it's like,
grant application, like you should
yeah.
have a website that is updated and has all the information about you.
Yes.
Uh,
Great.
so I'll just put my website here.
Yes.
So title,
Hmm.
blah blah blah, and I could
Year
say
completed. Oh,
2024.
important. We would love these samples to be within the last 5 years so we can hear what you sound like as of late, recently. So yeah, so that title of work and the year completed is how we can see that.
A short description, I can say I wrote this music,
Mhm,
performed it, and released it, for example.
mhm.
Something simple
Yeah,
as that. Or I
yeah,
produced it, I'm co-leading. If you don't have anything within the last 5 years, it's okay too. Like if you
yeah.
haven't produced anything, we understand that sometimes people can't do it. So don't feel shy about it, but it's preferable
Hmm.
with the most
Hmm.
recent work.
Yes, for sure.
Uh,
Same as
another.
this next sample.
Mhm.
Another important thing. So if your link, if it starts at a certain time, but you want us to skip to a certain space, definitely mark that here. This is the place to mark it. What would make it even better is if in YouTube, for instance, I think in SoundCloud, also in I think Vimeo now, you can actually make a link that goes exactly to that spot. So I think in YouTube, it's like if you hit share, it'll say start at, and you can check a
Mhm.
box and it starts there. That will make it so much easier for us.
Yes, yes,
I should probably
exactly.
add that. I should probably add that to
And
the
here,
application.
and here, this, yeah. So you can
Okay.
put
Yes,
again like
exactly.
title of the work, who
Yeah.
wrote it, what you perform.
Yeah.
Um, and then aside from
Great.
co-creating music video with your partner, you will be writing an essay. So this is a good moment for you. If you have been writing about any topic, you can submit here a little bit of that sample. Or if there's something that you would like to do some kind of research or write about, this would also like what we want to know, like what would you like to write for our anthology of writings.
Exactly. And all the anthology of writings that we've done in the past or that we've produced in the past, I will actually drop in the Zoom chat here. You can take a look at the different topics that our artists have chosen, and it's always been their choice as well. We leave that up to the artists. But yeah, so if you don't have actual samples from the past of your writing, you can just talk about what you would like to write about, or yeah.
And more kind of, I wrote climate change music, but I would like to
Hmm.
write blah 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 because this matters to me. Why,
Hmm.
give it a, it's not just like the topic, it's more
Right,
like
not
why
one
would
word.
you want, yes, not
Yes,
one more.
yes, yes,
I'm
yes,
moving forward.
yes,
Okay, about collaboration.
yes. Great. So yeah, these are just short um, answers. We really want to know why this is important for you at this time in your life. So how it would, be a catalyst for your artistic and professional growth. Um, yeah, I mean, that's basically making your case for why it's important for you to be part of M3.
Why
Um,
we should choose you.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And the next question is, because you will be collaborating for 7 months with one person to create a piece together, we want to know what qualities you look for in a collaborator. And on the flip side, kind of what do you feel your own strengths and weaknesses are, or things that you can grow in? So for instance, for me, I would say I look for someone who's generous and, um, you know, doesn't have an ego getting in the way of their work. For my strengths, I feel like I'm very open and communicative and honest. My weaknesses are that maybe if I'm not into an idea, I might not say it because I'm, shy or I don't want to offend the other person. So, just be honest about how you think you communicate and and kind of it's just kind of your self-awareness of that. Um, let's see. We know that
This
everyone
next
will, yep.
question
Hmm.
is, basically it's not just thinking that M3 will be a place where you get resources, but also what are the resources you can give to the community, and you could say, I'm a great listener, or I know a lot about, I don't know, breathing exercises, or it could be like, what are, something that is outstanding that makes you a great community member, and how can you
Hmm.
support the members of your community?
Or it
You
could
could be
also
like,
be,
go ahead, Jen.
oh, go ahead. Well, like, I'm a mother of two and I've learned a lot on how to manage my time, something like that. Or for instance, some people in the past, like, oh, I run a music festival, or I have a group that, I've learned a lot of things about organization that I could give to this cohort. So yeah, since it is mutual mentorship, we expect everyone to be giving as well as receiving wisdom, etc. Great. These are references, so we ask for two. Someone who has very close to you, has collaborated with you before, ideally knows your work well, and can speak on your behalf, and tell us how you are as a collaborator. So yeah, just two of those references. And then the application fee, again, it's $20. But if that is really difficult for you, just send us an email. Um, and and then we'll, okay it. And depending on what it is, we might ask for a little more information.
Hmm.
But if you're good to go and we're happy to have you apply without paying the fee, then you can just screenshot our response and then put that pic, into the application. So we have this little upload, um,
Exactly, here.
yeah, this
And
upload
also,
add
like, to pay
file.
the
Hmm.
fee, you will have to create a profile on this
Yeah, and you'll
website.
just put in
Yeah.
other. You'll
Other,
select other and then just put in
use
20.
20.
Yeah,
And then, I mean, you don't have to sign in, but signing in or creating an account would be better, easier. I'm gonna go
exactly.
back to our form.
Yeah.
And then if there's anything you'd like to share with us that we didn't cover, this is a chance.
This is the chance. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So we talked about ability. Things will make it easier for accessibility for
if you're,
you,
yeah,
and
if
anything
you're a
else.
caregiver, for
Yes.
example, um, or anything else really. Like,
Hmm.
I'm going to stop
Yeah.
the sharing now, and now
Right.
we'll open the room for questions. Please raise
Yes.
your hand, or you can type them on the chat.
Yes. Don't be shy. Oh, let's unmute you. Sorry. Sorry.
Or, but you can
Ask.
raise your hand if you have
Oh,
a
we can
question.
just, yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Okay. And
Sarah.
are you
I
going to
have
do it,
asked you to
Sarah?
unmute. Yeah.
Oh, hello.
Hi.
I just have kind of a logistical question about the references.
Hmm.
But are the references their part is due on the same day, or is there a window after the fact?
So you won't have to put in a letter or anything. You're just giving us their information.
Okay.
Like their email. I think we asked for email and name. What is important, and I hope we put this in the application, is that you let them know that you did
Oh, for sure.
say, give us their number and name. So in case we contact them, that they are not surprised. And that's good practice in any application. So yeah, luckily they don't have to turn anything in, it's just like you're getting their permission to use their name and email as a reference.
For
Yeah,
sure.
good
Thank you.
question. Yeah. Any other? Yes, Reiki. Are you muted? Oh,
Hello.
good. Hello. Hello.
Hey. So I'm in my last year of my master's and I'm graduating in June. Can I apply?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
As long
It's
as you're
just,
not enrolled by the time we start the season,
which
which
is
is September
September. Yeah.
2025. Yes, you'd
Okay.
Yeah.
apply.
So you'd be clear.
Super.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? Don't be shy. Any general questions that you have about M3
About the
too.
program also.
I guess I could ask more of a general one.
Okay.
But what would your like what are who are the candidates that you like to see, what you're looking for, I guess in a nebulous way. That's
I
Wow.
mean, I think we can talk more about when we select. Basically, the process of selection is we select 12 musicians total. So 6 will be from the open call, and 6 will be nominees, people who have been nominated by the current cohort. So what we really look for is a balance between these two groups of people in terms of age, access to resources, of course, artistic ability and talent and creativity, um, and just kind of seeing also like in terms of instruments they play. uh, we try not to, we can't have just, for example, only vocalists, or just piano players, so really trying to find the balance between all of these so that we can have a very diverse group of people that can learn from each other. So
Yeah.
it's much more about finding the balance between the group, and it's a very tough choice for us all the time.
Always. Yeah.
And also, one thing that we want to encourage is like, if, for example, you're applying for the first time or the second time, please don't feel discouraged if you don't get on the first time, because what we have found is like people that consistently apply have chances to get in the community, and also um, understanding that we remember you. You are not like like we remember who applies, who continuously applies, and also understanding that we're looking for people who are not just looking for M3 as a transaction or something that must be achieved to get to a certain place. We're really looking for building a community, building a
Hmm.
community of people that share, and that are envisioning or imagining a different way of working in our field.
Right.
So this is also just having in mind that when you write about your motivations, that it's not so much like, oh, this would be great for my career, although we all want
Right.
everyone to have a beautiful career.
Yeah.
um, uh, this probably is not going to be the space for that. It's much more about finding a community where people can thrive and create and imagine something different.
Yeah. And really get a chance to talk about their work, which I know, Sarah and I, we still come up in environments where we're invited to the table, but there isn't necessarily the space that's given for us still. So it's still happening. So this is, we want this to be a space where you don't have to worry about that. But we still want to, have everyone kind of give each other tools on how to still confront these issues that still exist in our community. Um, so
We have
yeah.
a question
Yeah.
from
Oh,
Alicia.
what I think Bilge,
Oh,
am I saying? I
Bilge.
think Bilge also had her hand up. Sorry. And then we'll get to Alicia.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Bilge.
Bilge.
Yeah,
Bilge. Okay. Nice to
no
meet you.
problem. Thanks for this opportunity. Actually, I was about asking the same question, but I can ask, do you have any preference in a specific genre, musical genre, or
Any
specific
genre.
ability like
No.
thread reading, improvisation, or something like that?
No. I mean, we purposely have just mutual mentorship for musicians. We keep
Mm-hmm.
the genre open because we found a gap in our community has been kind of the crossing over of genres, and we wanted to kind of cultivate that. So that's why when you're paired, it's so beautiful when people are from very, very different musical languages and backgrounds. So no, we have no preference of one or the other. In terms of like abilities and skills, we don't really, I mean, if you're a great sight reader, we don't, that's not really important to us. It's more like, what is the work that you offer to us? And however you get there, that's cool with us, So yeah, and then all the other things that Sarah mentioned, what your intentions. What we have found, for instance, is that, maybe someone's work maybe is not super, super sophisticated, but they're in a place that has very, very little access. It's very different from New York. So we take that into consideration. Um, yeah. So it's definitely not like this purely just the merit, there's so many other factors that we consider. Does that help answer your question?
Yes, it helps. Uh, Actually, I want to make sure. Actually, I have another question too. There was uh, on the application process and committee process, it was written location is important.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain it, please?
Yes, yeah. So I think we are mainly, because a lot of us work in multiple places. Like, for instance, I'm in New York and Rome this year. So we just like to know where people are based and where they're coming, so we can have a diversity of. So we don't want, for instance, like everyone to be from New York. We want to try to have as many different locations and I think approaches, perspectives, as possible. So yeah, so that's mainly the one reason. I don't know, Sarah, if you have
Yeah, I
anything
think
to
that's
expand
it.
on.
What we've noticed in the past, we would have many people applying from New York and Boston, and we really need to understanding that these are places that are fully served with a lot of resources for musicians, where someone probably in a rural area will not have
Hmm.
access to so many people in a bigger community. So
Mm,
that's what we have into consideration as well.
yeah.
Okay, I got it.
Yay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes.
Now,
I think
Alicia.
Alicia.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hi, it's actually Alicia.
Oh,
Alicia.
sorry.
No
Alicia.
worries at all. Thank you for putting this on. First of all, my questions are relatively quick. I was wondering about the recommendations. I understand the word collaborator, but I kind of started to think, oh, naturally you want a music collaborator, but what if you have a close collaborator that you did not collaborate on making music, but you collaborated on a music project? Does that make sense?
Sure. Yeah. 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 Like,
Um,
say it's a producer or a dancer
yeah.
or, yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's totally fine. And as long as they say how they collaborated with you. Um, yeah. I mean, Sarah, would you have a preference for a music collaborator over another kind?
No, I think
No.
basically we're just trying to understand in what ways you're collaborating with others, like what was the nature of the collaboration? Was it like you were producing something, or were you like writing a script and writing the music for this, so it doesn't have to be, it could be a musician where you're co-leading or like having a just purely musical collaboration, but it could also be multidisciplinary for sure.
Yeah,
Cool.
just someone who kind of knows were you easy to work with. That's kind of that's the main thing we're curious about, whether you were a generous and listening partner, collaborator. So
And then
Did you
yeah.
have another question, Alicia, about the recommendation? It's not a recommendation letter. It's really just someone who, if we have questions or if we need to reach out, they would say, "Hi, yes, I know this person. This person
Right.
collaborated with me," or like I've known this person for a long time. She was my student, or whatever.
Yeah.
But something that someone that could say, "I
Something
recommend
about you.
this
Yeah.
person. I think this would be a great fit for them."
that
Mhm.
definitely does. Thank you. I did
Cool.
have a second one too.
Mhm.
Okay.
This one was about work samples.
Mhm.
I, like I'm sure many people, produce original music. I create original music and then also have a practice interpreting existing music. Um, and I'm wondering, do you guys have a preference for original works as our work samples, or would we want to like showcase our work in another genre that we, are interpreting?
I think we're mainly focused on you as a generative artist, so something you've composed. Um, Again, everyone has different things that are recorded and presented, so there's so many factors I know that applicants have to think about, like quality, recording quality and whatnot. But so I think ideally both samples would showcase you, performing something you've written, performing some of your original work.
I think, however, if
Yeah.
there's something that you feel like this really highlights my instrument, like I'm very happy with this
Mhm.
performance. I was collaborating with this person, and you know, I'm singing someone else's song or performing someone else's
Mhm.
song, but this showcases my improvisation skills or something like that. I think that would be okay. But mainly, we're
Yeah.
also very interested in knowing, like, since we're aiming for composer performers or performer composers, something that you have created too, so that we can understand where are you coming from as a
Yeah.
musician composer.
Yeah. I think
Thank
we
you.
asked for at least one sample to show you as composing and performing. Um, so yeah, and then the other one you can figure out, what that one will be. So
Thank you.
great. Now I know Richie had, I know you already asked a question, so I wanted, I think, is what Aditi? Did you have a question? I wasn't answered. Oh, wait, ask to unmute. Sorry, I just asked you to unmute.
Sorry. Yeah, actually it was asked by Alicia, so thank you. Yeah.
Ah, great. Okay, okay, great. Great, great, great. Yes, we have 5 minutes left. So Rachie, you can ask your question again. Another question.
Okay, thank you. My question is also about the work sample.
Hmm.
So right now I'm really focusing on my solo project, and it's something
Hmm.
new and exciting for me. And my first reaction was that, oh, I really want to share this with you. But
Hmm.
would you recommend like two collaborative work samples versus one solo, one collaborative? Any advice on that?
I think at least one that shows you collaborating. And if you really feel strongly about your solo, um, I would say, and if it's, especially if it's most recent, then yeah, I probably would recommend that. What do you think, Sarah?
Yeah, I think always the idea behind whatever work sample you put in is how you are advocating for it, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
like, what is the your artistic intention behind it? It's not just like, oh, I really love this solo. It's like, actually, it's where I'm working on technique, on sound, or interaction. Like I was working, and if it's something you compose, like what exactly are you working on, like when you're composing this? So
Yeah,
I think however you advocate for your work samples, that's also important. Um,
definitely.
Not just like I produced this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
great, great questions.
We have 3 more minutes. Is
Yeah,
there any
anything
pressing, like
else?
last minute question anyone might have?
No.
Okay, wonderful. If you have any
Yeah.
questions in the meantime, you can always email us.
Yeah.
So the
Here, I'll put
deadline
that.
for the application is, I can't remember, when is it?
It's December 20th at
December
5
20th.
p.m. Yeah,
Yes,
5
5
p.m.
p.m.
Eastern.
Yes.
And there's our email.
And then Jen and I, we will hopefully by beginning of March, we will have um, more information.
Selections. Yeah.
Yes, a selection
Yeah.
at that
And then
time.
probably April or May is when we'll do the announcement. And of course, we would, inform everyone on the results before that announcement, of course.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, we're doing things a little earlier this year compared to last year.
We
So
highly recommend you to get acquainted with M3, check our website, check also what has been done in the past.
Oh, yes.
Yes, I mean,
Yes.
just a little shameless self-promotion right now. We're doing an online auction right now to raise funds for the next cohort. So also spread the word about that. Like there's many amazing items from our community,
Yes.
generously donated by our community. Yeah, we look forward to hearing your music and get to know a little bit more about you.
Yes. And I just put a YouTube link of all of our commission works. So it's let's see, 84. What is it? I can't count.
12 times 6,
6 times 12 divided by 2. So that's how
72.
72 divided by 2. So 36 pieces we've commissioned. So yeah, enjoy, and hope it inspires you.
Yeah.
Yay!
Thank
Well,
you very much.
you. Thank you so much. And we look
Bye-bye.
forward to seeing your application. Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.